reports Southwest Airlines scrapping a plan to put unvaccinated employees on unpaid leave starting December 8th. So is this to avoid any more of those disruptions? Travel agent Mark Murphy joins me now. You know, Mark, it was pretty interesting that the only airline that had bad weather, that had snafus, was Southwest Airlines. They said it was the FAA. The FAA called them out on the Twitter feed. So, you know, exactly. It feels like maybe they're having second thoughts here, huh?
Yeah, they absolutely are. If you see what's going on around the country, actually around the world, the protests, people are protesting the choice between having to take medicine that they may not need versus collecting a paycheck. And when it comes down to feeding your family, you have to cave in many cases. But in this case, because of the union, and particularly the pilots union, we saw that disruption that I was caught up in last week trying to fly from Nashville back to Fort Lauderdale. They don't want that to continue, and I think that's why they're taking the foot off the gas a little bit. And all they're really saying is we're not going to put you on unpaid leave while we try to work out your exceptions or your exemptions, et cetera. So when we're in a massive employment crisis, which we are today, businesses cannot find employees. The idea that you're going to make it harder for businesses to operate, and then the federal government mandates that, and then they come in and they say, well, we're going to help you fix it. It makes absolutely no sense. But that's the world we're living in today, and it's truly remarkable.
You know, it's interesting because one of the initial areas when the economy opened back up, to your point, that saw early disruptions was the airline industry. And of course, one of the ironies there is that they got paid by the government to keep people trained up and ready to go. And we don't know what happened to that money. The fact that Delta was probably the first airline or the only airline that I can recall that didn't go down this path, did that make it easier for Southwest to do this about face?
Well, no, because Delta came out and said that a while back, but Southwest went ahead anyway. Okay. So I don't think it did. I think it's the pushback, the cancellations. The irony is, even if you look today, Southwest spokespeople are still saying it had nothing to do with the vaccines. That's preposterous. It had everything to do with this vaccine mandate, and it's going to continue. What I don't understand in the travel industry, like, ask yourself, how many outbreaks have we had literally on planes, let alone gate agents, et cetera? Nothing. Virtually nothing in 2 years. So why this has to be put into place, it makes no sense. But at the same time, it's a federal government mandate, so you have to worry about protecting those government contracts. The question becomes, what's more important, the freedom and the liberty of your employees, or 3% of your revenues, in the case of Southwest, that are tied to government contracts? I know that's an easy decision. I'm an entrepreneur. I've owned a business. I'd rule in favor of my employees all day long versus some mandate from a bureaucrat that's never operated a business in their entire life.
And to that point, the airline spent a lot of time messaging that airplanes were safe. They kept saying this is the safest place you can be. So that's what made it even more disingenuous and puzzling, to your point, that Southwest went down this path.
Well, when are people going to start talking about natural immunity? We just had, of all places, in the Washington Post, an op-ed about natural immunity and why it's actually better. And the data says it's actually better. But if you have natural immunity and you want to keep your job in many places, you have to get the jab. Makes absolutely no sense. And it defies all scientific logic. And that's why the trust in government, the trust in public health experts, the trust in a lot of our institutions has been eroded dramatically as a result of this COVID crisis.
Absolutely. I will give you a guesstimate on that. I bet you the year after all of this is gone, everyone will say, hey, what about natural immunity? Mark, thank you.